Hello, hello, everybody. Hope you are all doing well. Good evening, good morning, or good afternoon. I'm recording this in the evening and it's been a little dreary today. Gotta love the Pacific Northwest, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Anyway, this is gonna be a complete divergence from what I've been doing on this channel up till now. I haven't uploaded a ton anyway, so I'm not really much of a big divergence, I suppose, but I'm just gonna go ahead and start doing snippets that I'm gonna go ahead and call Lucas Speaks or Lucas Talks or whatever you want to call it. Basically, the premise is I have maybe just a little bit of a specific substance, whether alcohol or THC, Washington, so the latter is perfectly fine. And I just speak about topics or subjects that interest me and share my thoughts and how I feel on it. And I'll try to have the least amount of editing that I possibly can just to keep it, as true to heart and as real as it possibly can be. Anyway, this first one's gonna be quite a heavy topic, and this is just something if you want to go ahead and throw on in the background because you like my voice, feel free to do so. You don't have to completely listen to every word that I say. Regardless, the first topic that I want to go ahead and just dance around here a little bit with you guys is death. Dude, death is an interesting one. So I don't really know, I guess, the best way to say that I feel about death. It's something that's inevitable and something that, is gonna come for us eventually one day. No matter how long we live, there's always gotta be some sort of end, at least with the way that we understand it. But I don't know. I've been around death a little bit in my life. Nothing ever, seems to really go wrong with me. I'm always healthy as a horse, but unfortunately, one of my aunts just passed away recently, and it's the big C. Cancer is a fucking bitch. If anyone out there has been affected, but personally or by family having it or friends, I really, my heart feels for you. It's scary, and it will completely turn your life upside down. It's hard. And my aunt didn't suffer with it for too terribly long, which, that's a blessing. But it's not nearly as scary as it used to be. It's not really a death sentence anymore, but man, cancer is one hell of a road. And, which also kind of sucks because back in 2017, my uncle passed away from pancreatic cancer. He was diagnosed back, it was probably, at least when I figured it out, it was, I think, either September or October of 2017. And my family usually gets together in California for Thanksgiving. And, Thanksgiving was going to be coming up, so I was going to be going to my dad's during that time. And that was when, they figured out that my uncle did have cancer, and my dad offered him a place to stay where, he could be around family. My uncle, it was stage 4 pancreatic cancer, so there wasn't really, he didn't really want to try doing anything. He just kind of wanted it to take him. And in doing so, he went over to my dad's and then, just stayed there. And I went there as well, about I'd say maybe 4-5 days before Thanksgiving. And dude, when I got there, I don't know if you've ever seen somebody who is so incredibly malnourished or just so sick. It's skin and bone. It's literally skin and bone. You can see the skeleton through the skin, and it's just such a viscerally real and primal thing. It's scary, and I never had experienced it before until that point, and so that was a real shell shock to me. So I spent time over there with my uncle and my dad as my uncle got worse and worse and worse. Thanksgiving did come, and he did make it. He made it to Thanksgiving, which is, really good, and made it so the whole family was able to see him. But very quickly after Thanksgiving, his condition just went south. He wasn't even able to speak anymore. And I won't go too terribly deep into this, but he was more of just a human husk at that point. And I didn't realize that they allowed this, but the doctor not allowed us, but gave my uncle the choice to use medication that would put an end to what he was going through. He was not gonna make it, and it would have just expedited the process so he wouldn't have to suffer. But the real scary thing is that even though he thought he was ready to pass on, he was scared to take those drugs. He didn't want to do it. And in the last couple of days that he was around, he did not want to go. But unfortunately, because of the choices that he made, there wasn't really any going back. And that's the scary finality of it. It's really, your choice when it comes to your health. You can influence it. You can do things, and you can fix yourself before you get to the point where he did. And he had a lot of opportunity, but either he did not want to, or he was scared to hear the answers that he was going to find. And in all honesty, I'm the exact same way. I don't go to the doctor for the same reason. Little pain in my side. Oh, it's fine. It's going to go away on its own. Doesn't go away on its own. Sticks around for several months later. Okay, that's fine. I need to learn from my uncle's mistakes and go make sure that I'm, checked out. And that goes for all of you guys, too. It's scary. It really is scary. But so pancreatic cancer is what took my uncle. And I was, on the same subject, I was listening to The Midnight Gospel on Netflix. If you guys haven't seen it, it is fantastic to watch. I think a couple of pretty dang good points are made there. But in one of the episodes, death is discussed. And it was discussed that the most viscerally real moments that you need to make sure you are present are the moments in which you are witnessing death or you see death, and the moments in which you see new life. Those are two of the most truly real parts of our being, and they are a universal constant. So being very physically aware and present mentally is so important at those times, so you can really just understand the magnitude of it. It's intense. But anyway, getting back on track, for anybody who's experienced death, you know how scary it is. My mom even went through cancer. Luckily, she made it. She was... Oh, hold on. Love it when these headphones like to speak to me. But back when I was a junior in high school, my mom was actually diagnosed with stage 3 lymphatic cancer. And, it was a real shell shock. I mean, I experienced some of life before that, having to move, having to make new friends, my parents getting divorced. Nothing insane. My grandparents dying, that was hard, but nothing truly, just shaking me to my core, figuring out my mom's got cancer. And how hard it was for her as well, but I gotta hand it to that woman. She is a tough motherfucker. She went through chemo, she lost her hair, she felt sick, but she still ran a successful business at the time. And her work kind of just kept her going. It was honestly amazing to see her do what she did, because she didn't let the cancer define who she was at the time. And because of the, her proactiveness and the help that she received, and, the I'm going to survive mentality, she made it. And the cancer might come back one day, but it is very well monitored, so if it ever does, she'll be just fine. But anyway, those are just a few examples of, death and near death in my life that have, influenced me into the way that I think nowadays. And just in the past, I'd say year, I've learned so much more about mindfulness and just trying to be as present in the moment as possible, trying to, capture the moment, feel it, and then look at it in a non-objective way. This isn't about mindfulness. I'll talk about that and what it means to me later on, I suppose. Probably not in this video. But I think death is one of those things that no matter how much we try to prepare ourselves, no matter what faith we have or what we believe in, we're all going to be scared of it. There is no, this is what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. I mean, for For all I know, my being might turn into some sort of spiritual energy, and then I might even be free from my body. That's a cool thing to believe in. I'd like to think that would happen after death. But there's also the possibility that after death, there is just non-existence. And I guess in the most scientifically and most, factual way that I can think about it and still feel comfortable with the thought of death is I haven't existed and you haven't existed, and your parents and your parents' parents haven't existed for, in all honesty, that long. And you don't remember anything that happened before you were born because you weren't there, and you won't remember anything after you die because you won't be there. So there's nothing really all that scary, because in a way, we have experienced nothing. It's just very hard for us to really wrap our head around. I don't know if it'd be like going to sleep and never waking up, but who knows? Oh, anyway, I suppose that's just a way that I'm able to, feel a bit more comfortable with the idea that I'm not invincible either. I'm gonna die one day. I'm just very lucky and very happy and very proud to be living in the time that I am. We live in a time where, oh God, things that just even, I'd say, a couple of decades ago would have seemed outlandish and crazy. And who knows what we're going to have a couple of decades from now. We're living in one of the best times in human history. We are pre going to Mars and setting up outposts, but we're also, post some of the worst world wars that the world has ever seen. We are in an age of information. We're so much more connected than we ever have been. Anyway, as you could tell, I'm not really good at keeping topics all that much. I want to try to stick to the whole death topic. But regardless, it's just nicer. We don't want to fight as much because we can speak to one another and see that we're all the same. And, well, you know what? In all honesty, I feel like if I keep talking about death, I'm just going to bring myself down. But I don't know. It's fascinating. And we're all going to experience it one day. And you know what? It just is what it is. If it's okay with you, okay. And if it's not okay with you, then all right, it is what it is. But it just is going to happen. And I feel coming to terms and understanding that and having a healthy outlook about it is probably one of the best ways that you can almost prepare yourself and prepare your loved ones for, when you pass away or when they pass away. Anyway, this will probably be the first actual Lucas Speaks video that I put out. If you guys have stuck around through this entire ramble, I honestly applaud you, and I'm very, very thankful. I might add a camera, but in all honesty, I thought just getting some stock drone footage or some nice footage would look kind of good for this. If you have any thoughts or topics that you want me to get stoned and discuss, go ahead and let me know. This is fun, and I kind of like to do more of it. Anyways, everybody, thanks so much for watching. It is a pleasure, and I'll try to pump out another one of these fairly soon. Have a good one, guys. Be safe. Drive safe. I'll catch you all in the next one.